Have you ever pulled into a campground and then immediately thought, oh no, this is a mistake? I have. After spending 300 nights in my camper and staying at over 70 campgrounds, I've discovered that there are some campsites that have red flags that are easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. However, some don't show up until you're all set up, sitting around your camping chair, and then wondering, what possessed you to book this spot in the first place? And the bad news? I've learned most of them the hard way. And before anyone says it, yes, I know. Some of these were self inflicted. Red flag number one, the parking lot campground. This one fooled me earlier on. The website, it looked nice. The photos, they looked beautiful. Everything looked like the perfect camping site. Then, when I pulled in, the campsites were so packed together that if my neighbor happened to sneeze, I felt like I'd be obliged to say, God bless you. Now, if that's your thing, well, that's perfectly okay. But I prefer to camp in nature. I prefer quiet. I prefer privacy. And I enjoy feeling like I've escaped everyday life, even if it's just for a while. This felt less like camping and more like I reserved a parking spot with hookups. For me, a big red flag. These days before I book, I always pull up the satellite view on Google Maps and I look at a campground map. Or if I can find a campground tour video on YouTube, even better. As you're watching the rest of these red flags, I want you to keep track of which ones would be a deal killer for you. I want to know which one's going to send you running the fastest. Now, just as much as I dislike parking lot campgrounds, this next one is stranger, because this campground, it can look perfectly normal online until you pull in. And then you feel like you accidentally parked in someone else's neighborhood. Red flag number two, the seasonal campground trap. And this one completely caught me off guard. And the reason was, once again, the campground, when I was looking at it online, looked just like an average campground. But what I didn't realize, most of those sites, they were seasonal. When I arrived, I quickly realized that I wasn't going to be camping for the weekend. I was going to be visiting someone else's neighborhood. People had decks attached to their campers, gardens, outdoor decorations, golf carts cruising around. You could definitely tell that some of these campers, they've been there for years. Meanwhile, there I am, looking like the kid that accidentally wandered into somebody else's family reunion. Now, nobody was unfriendly. I just felt more like a visitor than I did like a camper. Now, before I book a site, I always try to check on the website to see how many of the campsites are going to be seasonal campsites. But if the website isn't really clear about it, you can always look at the campground map. And usually this is a pretty good giveaway. Now, for some people, this isn't a red flag at all. But for me, absolutely a red flag. Okay, this next one has fooled me more than once, but the first time it gets you, it kind of feels like a win. That brings me to red flag number three, when no one else wants it. You know how it goes. The waterfront sites are gone. The shady sites are gone. All of the good sites are gone. And then suddenly you find that one campground that has all kinds of openings. And then you think to yourself, perfect, I scored. Or it's maybe that someone else knows something that you don't. Now, maybe there is some campgrounds that you're going to stumble upon that do have what seems to be a lot of extra availability. But I've arrived at some of these campsites and I found overflowing dumpsters, bathrooms that look like they've lost the battle a long time ago, and campsites and the campground that feels like it hadn't been cared for in quite a while. And now that's a red flag. So now I read reviews, and I mean recent reviews, because a glowing review from somebody 5 years ago, well, that's not very useful. And I'm looking for patterns, because there can be one grumpy camper that left a negative review, but once 10 campers are complaining about the same thing, now that's information. Of course, a campground can have great reviews, the most beautiful sights, but it can still keep you awake half the night. Ask me how I know. That's because of red flag number four. What's next door? One campground I camped at really seemed to have all the check boxes checked, but then bedtime came around. That's when I heard the road noise. At first, it didn't seem to be too loud. And then came the trucks, then came the motorcycles. And apparently, every single one of them had an announcement for the entire campground. Now, once I heard the traffic noise, for some reason, I couldn't stop hearing it. Instead of listening to birds, I was listening to traffic. Red flag for sure. But now I always zoom out on Google Maps before booking. Not just the campground, the whole entire area around it. I'm looking for railroad tracks, highways, industrial areas, anything that could affect the experience. Because a beautiful campsite, well, it's going to quickly lose its charm when you need to pause your conversation every time a semi goes by. But even if the campground is quiet, there's another red flag that can completely change my excitement. Red flag number 5, no trees, no thanks. I don't know. Is it just me? You're really going to have to let me know. But when I pull into a campground that has absolutely no trees, my level of excitement drops as fast as my cell signal drops in the middle of the forest. Yes, some of these campsites, they did look perfect online. But then when I arrived, it looked like I was camping in the middle of a giant field. No shade, no privacy, absolutely no buffer between me and everyone else. But on a hot summer day, no trees. Aha, that matters a lot. Thor and I, we both appreciate the shade. And I think Thor might appreciate it even a little bit more than I do. For me, trees, well, they're just part of the experience. I like hearing the wind moving through them. And I really like the privacy. And I like the feeling of not feeling like I parked my camper in the middle of a prairie with nowhere to hide. For me, no trees, big red flag. Some red flags are easy to spot before you arrive, but others, they're going to creep up after you're committed. That's why red flag number 6 is the setup surprise. And this is where things can go sideways in a hurry. Once again, the campsite, well, it looked perfect online. Then you finally arrive, you start to back in, and then the surprise begins. Maybe the hookups are further away than you expected. Maybe that campsite is so unlevel that you look at it and think to yourself, well, yep, this is going to be interesting. Or maybe even before you pull in, you're navigating some really tight turns and you're wondering if your camper is even going to fit into the campsite. But the funny thing is, there's no one around until you start backing in. Then suddenly you become the featured attraction at the campground because you know they're trying not to watch, but they're definitely watching. Now I always carry an extra hose and an extra electric cord. And then before I hitch, I always make sure that everything can reach. Because moving your camper before you get all unhitched, yeah, it's easy. But moving it after you've gotten unhitched, just got comfortable, hard pass. Yep, definitely another red flag. Now, after everything I've told you, you're probably thinking to yourself that these are red flags that I avoid each and every time. Wrong. Because red flag number 7 is sometimes I avoid my own rules. Because if a campsite puts me right on Lake Superior, suddenly everything changes. Will I tolerate closer neighbors? Absolutely. Will I tolerate less privacy? Yep. A site that isn't level? Probably. Put me beside an incredible river view or a spectacular mountain view or a campsite that's beautiful enough to have me ignore my own rules. Yep, suddenly my red flag detector, it stops working. Yep, after spending 300 or more nights camping, I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. But I'll tell you this, choosing the right campsite, well, that's only half the puzzle. In this video right here, I'm sharing what matters the most to me after years of solo RV camping, including a few that have completely changed the way that I camp. I'll see you over there, and I can't wait to hang out with you again next Thursday.